tomorrow. President Trump is slated to meet the top congressional leaders as a deadline to avoid a government shutdown nears. Republicans and Democrats are in a stalemate, with each side blaming the other. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the latest. Tonight, Americans bracing for a government shutdown, the deadline looming just 2 days away.
If it has to shut down, it'll have to shut down.
The top 4 congressional leaders set to meet with President Trump at the White House tomorrow, a last-ditch effort to make a deal. But both parties digging in.
Our position has been very clear. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care.
The House Speaker says Trump plans to ramp up the pressure on Democrats.
Now, I talked with him at length yesterday about this, and he's going to tell Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to stop playing political games.
Democrats demand that Republicans reverse Medicaid cuts and extend expiring Obamacare subsidies so health insurance premiums don't rise for some 20 million people. But Republicans refusing to budge.
What the Democrats have done here is take the federal government as a hostage.
A shutdown means millions of federal employees, members of the military, TSA officers, ICE agents would go without pay until the government reopens. But the White House raising the stakes even further, directing agencies to consider mass firings of federal workers from programs that are not consistent with the president's priorities.
I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rekah Kwadash. Double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba. Alright, so as you see, we're being ruled over by, as it says in Isaiah 3, the Edomites are like children. All right. It says in Isaiah 3, verse 11, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors. And that's what I thought of in this video, which I just played at the beginning. I'll play it again.
Listen up.
The high-stakes meeting at the White House tomorrow. President Trump is slated to meet the top congressional leaders as a deadline to avoid a government shutdown nears. Republicans and Democrats are in a stalemate, with each side blaming the other.
Right there, it remind me of children. Them blaming each other for the problems of this country. And that's how children operate, right? When one child gets in trouble, they'll blame the other child. So, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. As for my people, it says children are their oppressors. Now let's go into the NLT. Childish leaders oppress my people, and women rule over them. O my people, which are the Israelites, your leaders mislead you. They send you down the wrong road. Like Christianity, all right? Christianity is the wrong road, all right? Woman worship is the wrong road. Or to think that you're able to be joined to your enemy and not suffer the consequences, all right? That's the wrong road. Because anyone that's joined to these people, these Edomites, which are the wicked, and they're going to receive a reward of ill, right? And these women that are with Esau, all right, they're set up to rule over the Israelites, just like that woman in the media doing that story, right? That woman isn't supposed to be there. She should be at home taking care of her husband, her kids, her grandkids, all right? But instead, they're setting her up as a prostitute, putting her before people on a pedestal. And this is why this is a wicked ass place. All right, because the wicked are ruling and they put women over the people. All right, because they're fools. Now the Lord is going to bring this place down like lightning. Isaiah 14 verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve here in America, known as Babylon the Great, who are to be destroyed in biblical prophecy by fire, that thou shalt take up this proverb means this prophecy, against the king of Babylon. Today the king of Babylon is Trump. And say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Let's see what that word ceased is. Shabbat. So Sabbath, cease, desist, rest, right, from labor, which there ain't going to be no jobs in Egypt. See, to cause, to put an end to. Eventually to exterminate and destroy. That's the future of America. It's going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles at the return of Yahweh Shai. To cause, to desist from, to remove, and it's going to be removed by nuclear missiles. To cause to fail, which we're seeing it fail right before our eyes. All right, which it says in Isaiah 13 and verse 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Which, this is what Esau's doing right now. All right, so I'm going to play this video for you. And it explains how the U.S. is going to use the cryptocurrency to get rid of the 37 trillion in debt and turn it into asset, while it leaves the rest of the world holding the worthless dollar of the United States, which Russia is the Medes in this verse here that I just read. Behold, I will stir up the Medes. In that place where the Medes were are the Russians today, against them which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Well, America's going digital, and Russia's upset because it's gonna wash them of their 37 trillion dollars of debt and turn it into an asset, and they want to control everything through this asset. You know, they're going to go digital, which is going to lead to them making it mandatory that everyone has an implantable microchip, the mark of the beast.
President Trump to, quote, dump all the U.S. gold and buy Bitcoin.
Dump your gold, sell all the U.S. gold, buy Bitcoin, then the trade is free because you could buy 5 million Bitcoin for the cost of the gold. You will demonetize the entire gold asset class, and our enemies hold gold in their banks, so their assets would go to zero. Our assets would go to $100 trillion, and we would control the world's reserve capital network as well as the world's reserve currency network.
The $37 trillion question, though, is how realistic is this, and would this actually work? Because I think the answer is it's not just going to work. It's going to be inevitable, and I think it's going to happen. Not exactly in that way, but that's what I'm going to help explain in today's video. I want to show you what Putin's advisor exactly said and how the U.S. will devalue its $37 trillion worth of debt with stablecoins and Bitcoin. It's a really interesting story. So with that said, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Henri Jick. Hope you're doing well. To Russia's President Vladimir Putin. And he's been in that job for over a decade. He basically helps with Russia's messaging at big events like the Eastern Economic Forum. Now, in his speech, he said that the U.S. is trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and crypto markets, and that the ultimate goal of the United States is to push the whole world into what he called the crypto cloud. And once the world is there, he says it's going to move its huge $37 trillion worth of national debt into assets like stablecoins and then devalue it, which would essentially wipe the slate clean. Okay, second question then is, what does it actually mean to devalue the debt, and how does that work? So here goes. Imagine that the whole world is just worth this $100 bill. Let's say I borrow all of it, right? Every single dollar. And now I owe and I have to pay it back. The problem is, paying it back the hard way means I have to pay it back and give it back, right? But luckily, I have a special superpower because I control the world reserve currency. So instead of repaying it back with the same $100 bill I just borrowed, I could just create another $100 bill out of thin air. Well, now the world doesn't just have $100 in circulation anymore. It now has $200, which is now trying to buy all the same things in the world because we didn't make more stuff. So what happens next? The price of all those things goes up, right? Things like real estate, stocks, gold, especially the things everybody wants. They all go up. The groceries you used to pay $1 for now cost $2. Everything becomes more expensive because, again, the supply of money doubled, but the supply of stuff stayed the same. That's inflation. Now, when I go to give you back your $100, it looks like I just repaid you back in full. But in reality, I cheated because now your $100 bill doesn't buy you the same amount of stuff because I diluted the money, so it now only buys you half as much. I devalued the debt. Now, what most people don't realize, though, is that this is literally the oldest trick in the book. And in a lot of ways, it's how the United States has been paying for its debt this whole time. Devaluing doesn't mean defaulting. It doesn't mean not paying back. It means to lower the real value of that debt through inflation or currency manipulation.
And this is why the Medes, aka the Russians, are going to fire nuclear missiles on America.
Happening right now, the United States of America is sending a massive amount of assets, military assets, over to Europe in a preparation that Donald Trump will engage with the Ukrainian and the Russian war militarily. We could at any moment in time see in a massive breakout of explosions. We could see the entire Russian military come to a full confrontation with NATO and with the USA. We will see a closing down of some supply. We will see oil and other mineral supply issues rise up because of this. You're probably also going to see some more assassin events happen here inside of the USA because they're going to start smoking the politicians that told Russia we would not do this. Russia does not play around. Vladimir Putin, the KGB, they do not play around. So what they will do is they'll start taking out our assets here inside of the USA that could involve your politicians. They don't care whether you and your family are collateral damage with this. We could really see this pop off. So watch this news behind me here.
All right, so going back to Isaiah 13, verse 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes, which are the Russians, against them which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Let's go to the NLT. Look, I will stir up the Medes against Babylon, which is America. They cannot be tempted by silver or bribed with gold, because they already know you're going to go digital. You see, try to make their gold worthless. It says, their bows, which are the nuclear missiles, also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, which you can't locate Sodom and Gomorrah even till this day, which America is going to be a desert desert of brimstone, of yellow sulfur. That's what the land of Sodom and Gomorrah and the other cities that were destroyed back then. Today they're deserts of brimstone, yellow brimstone. But you cannot locate those cities. You can't even find ruins of these cities, because the Lord wiped it off the face of the earth, and it was an example of what was going to happen to these people that live ungodly today under the Edomite. It says, I believe it's in this one here, in Jude. Yep, right here. It says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah, Jude verse 7, even as Sodom and Gomorrah, the cities about them, in like manner giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. All right. What you see, it's a desert. All right. Brimstone and pools of water, which that's in Isaiah 14. It says in Isaiah 14, it says in verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So this judgment is created against the devil, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, and his angels, which is his military. It says, for I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon, which is America, the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh, which he's against the Edomite, the so-called Caucasian, the red devil the Bible speaks of. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts, which the nuclear destruction, it's going to sweep the country, America, off the map. It's going to leave it as Sodom and Gomorrah, a desert and pools of water. See? A desert and pools of water. No, nothing will grow here until it eventually cools down. And I'm talking about Babylon the Great, America. And it tells you that there will be animals that live here, desert creatures, but no man will live here. All right. See, it says in Jeremiah 49 and 18, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it, which it's talking about America. All right. Verse 17, I should have started at 17. It says, also Edom, which is the so-called white race, the red devils the Bible speaks of, shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished when they see America being turned into a desert. When they see this desert, they're going to be astonished by it, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. They're going to be like, damn. What did these people do? Because the Lord's it's going to be the greatest judgment ever dished out, to these heathen. The judgment of America is going to shake the earth. All right. It says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Which, let me get that in the NLT. Let's see. It says, Edom, will be an object of horror. All who pass by will be appalled and will gasp at the destruction they see there. It will be like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighboring towns, says Yahweh. No one will live there, no one will inhabit it. See? So that's the future of America. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, wa abal babal.